5 Biggest Mistakes Men Make When Dating. Hello everyone. Today, I want to discuss some common dating pitfalls that you should steer clear of. Interestingly, some of these mistakes may seem quite counterintuitive, but that's actually a positive sign. It indicates that we all have certain blind spots, and any one of these missteps could be hindering your ability to attract the right partner. If you find that 3 or more of these dating errors resonate with you, it's likely a significant reason behind your negative experiences with women. For those who are new to my channel, my mission is to assist men in understanding modern women, enabling you to find, attract, and maintain a meaningful relationship without losing your sense of self. Welcome to Just the Tip. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that you shouldn't feel guilty if you recognize that you've made any of these mistakes. Many of them stem from a desire for self-preservation. Sometimes, our subconscious can be overly protective, leading us to behaviors that may ultimately be more harmful than beneficial. Additionally, it's important to acknowledge that men and women often experience attraction differently, which brings us to our first dating mistake, placing too much importance on physical attraction. As many of you may already know, when a man first sees a woman, he typically has an immediate sense of whether he finds her attractive or not. In contrast, a woman's initial reaction is often more nuanced. She may instantly know if she is completely uninterested, but if she doesn't feel that strong aversion, she might categorize him as a potential maybe. Research indicates that over 70% of women in long-term relationships did not feel an immediate physical attraction to their partner. So, if you're in a relationship and didn't experience that instant spark, don't be disheartened. For many women, the journey to attraction begins with an emotional connection, which then evolves into physical attraction over time. Those men often started off as maybes. The tricky part is that many women mistakenly believe that if there isn't an immediate spark, it will never develop, which is simply not the case. Just ask the 70% of women in long-term relationships who can attest to this. For instance, last summer, a friend of mine was on the lookout for a boyfriend. She expressed that she had no interest in the so-called bad boys and had never been drawn to them. However, she also mentioned that she had never felt a spark with the good guys. I shared with her the insights I just mentioned, and she decided to approach dating with an open mind, giving the good guys a chance to show their true selves. Before long, she met a wonderful guy. Initially, there was no immediate chemistry, but she chose to get to know him better. It took some time, about a couple of months, but they discovered that they shared similar beliefs, values, and long-term aspirations. As her feelings deepened, so did her attraction. I caught up with her a few months later, and she excitedly told me that she couldn't keep her hands off him. This illustrates that the process of attraction can unfold differently for women compared to men. You might be wondering, that's great, but how does this story help me? How can I make a girl like me? The answer is not about convincing her to like you. Instead, here's the surprising solution: consider embracing the friend zone. I know what you're thinking, that never works. But the truth is, it does work for 70% of long-term relationships. The key, however, is to avoid spoiling her or acting like a simp. Instead, focus on building a genuine friendship and connection. A true friend doesn't expect anything in return for their kindness, but when it comes to romantic relationships, there are some considerations to keep in mind. Taking the pressure off and allowing a potential partner to get to know you without expectations can be a great way to build a connection. It gives both of you the chance to discover if your beliefs, values, and long-term goals align. However, it's crucial to maintain your own standards and not take yourself off the dating market. Being honest about this with your potential partner is key. This approach allows you to explore your compatibility as friends first, while also dating other women to see if there might be a better match for you. The beauty of this method is that it allows both individuals to assess each other as people, without the pressure of a romantic relationship. If you put pressure on her, she may distance herself, making it difficult for her to form an emotional attachment. By dating others, you give yourself the opportunity to find someone who might be a better fit, or even develop an attraction with the friend you're already comfortable with. If this attraction grows and she starts to realize your compatibility, the relationship has the potential to evolve into something more. But remember, don't wait for her feelings to change. If you're not comfortable with this approach, it's best to move on. The next dating mistake we'll discuss stems from a place of self-protection, and that's adopting a defensive attitude. When you encounter a woman who seems to have a negative view of all men, it's not an attractive quality, and it's not something that women find appealing either. Guys who have had bad experiences in the past or have heard about others' negative experiences may develop defensive attitudes, which is a natural response. However, this defensive stance creates a barrier to intimacy, both physical and emotional. Women need to feel an emotional connection to develop physical attraction, and for a long-term relationship to thrive, trust is essential. You need to trust yourself to recognize red flags and know when to walk away from a situation that may cause pain. Understanding accountability in relationships. The distinction between fault and accountability represents a crucial aspect of how we navigate relationships. While many women could benefit from embracing greater accountability for their actions, this principle applies universally. Both men and women would experience improved relationships by taking ownership of their choices and behaviors. It's essential to understand that fault and accountability function differently. Fault focuses on assigning blame and often leads us into a victim mentality, creating feelings of powerlessness and despair. We retreat into this mindset as a protective mechanism, allowing us to avoid challenges, sidestep risks, and essentially hide from difficult situations. This represents nothing more than self-preservation at work. Accountability, by contrast, involves claiming responsibility where possible, which actually empowers us. Embracing accountability doesn't excuse others' inappropriate behaviors, it simply enables us to take control in meaningful ways and create positive changes in our lives. Consider this example. Becca has experienced infidelity with her last 3 boyfriends, which might lead her to develop negative perceptions about men generally. But is this perspective truly fair? Perhaps not. While she didn't deserve such treatment, she might reflect on whether she selected incompatible partners or contributed to relationship dynamics that weren't healthy. These represent areas where she could take responsibility and make different choices moving forward. Women typically feel more secure with men who demonstrate resilience rather than victimhood. Though it sounds somewhat cliched, the principle remains valid. When men adopt a victim mentality, women instinctively shift into nurturing mode. This maternal response suppresses romantic attraction. If she feels obligated to care for you emotionally, she'll struggle to maintain physical interest. Women generally prefer partners who actively address problematic situations rather than complaining about them. The solution? Consistently identify opportunities to assume responsibility wherever possible. Another critical relationship mistake involves lacking firm convictions. This doesn't refer to criminal history. Only emotionally unhealthy women pursue relationships with lawbreakers. Apologies to any viewers with criminal backgrounds, but this generally holds true. Rather, it means not holding strong beliefs that you would defend passionately or at minimum express when they differ from your partner's views. If your opinions constantly shift to align with hers, she'll struggle to identify your authentic feelings. This creates a trust deficit. She can't rely on your perspective when seeking guidance about her own challenges or uncertainties. Healthy relationships require mutual support. If she cannot occasionally depend on your strength, she'll revert to protective nurturing because she doesn't feel emotionally secure. The absence of firm convictions communicates uncertainty, insecurity, and weakness. This provides no evidence of how you might handle pressure when life becomes challenging. Additionally, you should ensure she doesn't violate any of your fundamental principles. The solution? Identify something genuinely important to you, something you would never compromise, and share this with her at the earliest appropriate opportunity. The 5th common dating mistake might prevent you from even initiating conversation with women, let alone securing dates. Fortunately, it's also the simplest to correct: weak body language. Your physical presence communicates volumes before you've spoken a single word. When encountering others, we form immediate impressions based on appearance and body language. These nonverbal cues significantly impact how others perceive and respond to us in social situations. Feeling a bit nervous around women is natural for everyone, but women tend to assess men through a slightly different lens. Many feminine women are instinctively attracted to men who radiate strong, masculine body language. Here's the good news: projecting confident body language doesn't just reflect inner certainty, it actually builds it. This happens because of a powerful feedback loop where our psychology influences our physical posture, and that posture, in turn, shapes our psychological state. Imagine how forcing a smile can lift your spirits. In the same way, standing upright with your shoulders relaxed but square, making calm, deliberate gestures, and keeping steady eye contact all signal to your brain that you're in command. This trick helps you feel more self-assured from the inside out, even if you're not completely confident at first. And yes, it requires consistent practice to make these behaviors feel natural. But what if you tend to come across as shy, hesitant, or even overly gentle? Or perhaps you're simply unaware of the signals you're sending with your body. If you want to learn exactly how to adopt the body language patterns that biologically and intuitively resonate with women, watch my comprehensive video on masculine body language. There, you'll discover specific tips you can apply right away. If you recognize 3 or more of the dating mistakes I cover, I highly encourage you to join my Wake Up to Love program. Remember, real results only happen when you do the work, but there's zero risk. My money-back guarantee ensures you can't fail. So there's no excuse not to invest in yourself today. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless on your journey.